Next question, question number 3J. Excel Limited made an issue of 14% non-convertible debentures NCD on January 1st, 2016. These debentures have a face value of rupees 100 and is currently traded in the market at the rate of rupees 90. So P0 is 90 and face value is 100. Interest on these non-convertible debentures will be paid through post-dated checks dated 30th of June and 31st of December. Interest payment for the first 3 years will be paid through advance, that is, will be paid in advance through post-dated checks, while for the last year, PDC will be issued at the end of the third year. The bond is redeemable at par, that is at face value, on 31st of December 2016, that is at the end of the fourth year. You are required to calculate realized yield on non-convertible debenture, assuming intermediate coupon payments are not available for reinvestment. That is the question. Dear students, I need to give you a detailed explanation of this question. In order to give detailed explanation of this question, I need to take certain values. So I just explain to you, so from those values, and then we are switching over to this question. Answer of question number 3J. Answer of question number 3J. Dear students, let us assume that there is a security which is issued for a time period of 4 years. I am just taking an additional example. Suppose the price at which the security is issued is 800. It will offer the interest on the face value of the security, and let us assume that the interest is 100 rupees. First year, second year, third year. Last year, redemption of the security is at premium, let us say 1200. So the redemption value of the security is 1300. So this is the cash flow of the security starting from year 0 to end of year 4. So over here, what happens at say in the year 0, investor has purchased the security for 800. End of year 1 to end of year 3, there is a cash inflow of 100 rupees, and last year investor will receive redemption value of the security 1300. Now from this information, let us say that we are required to make the calculation of internal rate of return, and let us assume that the internal rate of return is 15%. Suppose the IRR is 15%. Now friends, what happens at say once you compute the IRR 15%, in that there is an implied assumption. What kind of assumption is made? Implied assumption is made that the internal cash accruals can be reinvested at IRR rate. It means that 100 rupees that you receive at the end of the first year, 100 rupees that you receive at the end of the second year, 100 rupees that you receive at the end of the third year can be reinvested at the rate 15% for the remaining time period. So this amount can be compounded for the remaining 3 years at 15%. This amount is compounded at the rate of 15% for remaining 2 years. This is compounded at 15% for 1 year. And of course, the fourth year cash flow is not subject to any compounding. That is the kind of implied assumption that we have whenever we make the calculation of the IRR. Now friends, at our IPCC or intermediate level, if you recall, we have studied a concept which is given a name as modified internal rate of return. What does the term modified internal rate of return MIRR means? It means that in order to overcome the limitation of the IRR criteria with respect to the reinvestment rate, in order to overcome the reinvestment rate, that is the assumption, that is say the in order to overcome the limitation of the IRR criteria about the reinvestment rate, we have a modified version of IRR. In case of the modified version of IRR, what we are doing, we are making the computation of the future value of the internal cash accrual with the reinvestment rate provided to us in the example. Suppose the investor does not have the reinvestment opportunity available at 15%. No problem. You tell me the rate at which the internal cash accruals can be reinvested. Suppose the internal cash accruals can be reinvested at the rate of, let us say, 9%. So what we will do, the internal cash accrual will be reinvested at the rate of 9% for the remaining time period. That is, first year cash accrual will be reinvested at the rate of 9% for 3 years. Second year cash accrual will be reinvested at the rate of 9% for 2 years. Third year cash accrual will be reinvested at 9% for 1 year. And fourth year cash accrual is the fourth year cash accrual itself. So we will get the future value of the internal cash accrual. It comes to, let us say for example, an amount of rupees 1800. It means that in the year 0 you invest 800, and at the end of the fourth year, considering the actual reinvestment rate, you get an amount of the cash accrual rupees 1800. So we understand at say year 0 and year 4, outflow of 800 and inflow of 1800. Now what is the rate at which the return is received will be calculated as balancing figure. So we have a formula like this: 800 into future value interest factor at modified internal rate of return for n number of years is equal to 1800. And then modified internal rate of return will be found as balancing figure. Now whatever the concept that say we have of the modified internal rate of return, the same itself is given a different name over here. And that different name over here is nothing else but it is the realized yield to maturity. See over here, the question says that say you're required to compute the realized yield on NCD. So the realized yield is absolutely nothing else but it is modified internal rate of return. That is the way so the answer is supposed to be calculated. तो सबसे पहले एक नोट लिखते हैं और फिर आंसर करते हैं. रिटर्न हेडिंग realized yield on non-convertible debenture. In that, write down first point. Following steps are required to be followed for realized yield calculation. In that, write down A. Calculate compounded value of internal cash accrual with reinvestment rate information. B. Using following formula, comma, calculate realized yield. Write on the formula: investment into future value interest factor at I for n number of years is equal to future value of internal cash accruals. Full stop. Second point, write down: normal yield calculation in bracket I am writing IRR assumes that internal cash accruals can be reinvested at the rate IRR slash yield. Full stop. Actually, reinvestment at that rate may not be available in the market. Full stop. In that, write down further: in order to overcome this limitation of reinvestment rate, comma, realized yield is calculated. Full stop. Now friends, I have explained you the concept. I have told you the formula. Now I want you to make the calculation of the answer and then I will do answer. चलो किसी को डाउट या क्वेरी हो तो पूछो, किसी को डाउट या क्वेरी हो तो पूछो. Okay. I am really happy to see that the Mayur has given correct answer. Very good answer Mayur. बहुत ही बढ़िया आंसर दिया आपने. Okay.